What's going on, everybody? This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sports Biz Music, the podcast, episode 42. And I got a special guest. I got my boy Papa Zan in the building.
Yo.
What's going on with you, bro?
Fantastic, man. I'm happy to be here.
I see you working, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got a few songs out.
Just a couple.
Yeah,
just a few.
Yeah. But before we get into that, let the people know, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Papa Zan, Papa Zaniel. That's the whole thing. Originally from Montreal, Canada. Raised right here in Broward County, you know what I mean? Touched down in Miami first, North Miami Gardens. And then I grew up in Lauderhill, Shallow Side, 26th Street where I grew up. Yeah, man, it's been interesting being a part of the South Florida culture, especially learning English and having that whole tie.
So before we get into like the difference between, because have you went back to Canada?
Yeah, I still got family up there.
Yeah, cause I gotta actually, my girl Chef, she from here, but she went up to T-Dot, and she told me it's like she said it's crazy up there. But before we get into that, like, where did like the music, like the love for music all started?
I was like 12 years old, and I was watching Bow Wow on television, and I was like, yo, who is this kid? And then Lil Romeo popped up. I was like, yo, who are these kids making music, and why are they sitting next to Snoop Dogg and Jermaine Dupri and these big rappers? And I was like, I could do that too. So when I figured out, I could rhyme words together and do it well, because French is my first language, I just kept practicing with it. And then my older brother, he saw my passion for it. The first song I ever heard and understood was The Rockwalla by Method Man and Redman. That's like a classic staple in hip hop. But,
the Black Eye album. That's
that whole tape is fire. You know what I mean? Serial Killer. Anyways, so I had to go back and do my homework, do my research, and figured out that hip hop was on the timeline, and it was really young genre. It wasn't like the blues or jazz, but it stemmed from that. And so understanding where it came from, and break beats and Sugar Hill Gang, and that first record coming out, I was able to fall in love with the culture itself. Because I realized there's more than music. It was DJing and graffiti and breakdancing, and that's how it started. And then MCs came along, and the whole business came along. So from bottom up, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? And then after that, I learned to love words, and I try to figure out how to do different things with it, put on the beat, make songs, and my performance is the most important thing. I feel like if you can't perform, you can't really do anything as an artist. You know what I mean? Recording artists are a big thing. Britney Spears sounds great in the studio. But, early on, there were so many reports about Britney Spears on a horrible live. You know what I mean? And of course, you got to practice and you get better. But, like, performance is, like, key. You know what I mean? You're always going to catch me at a show rapping over the instrumental, not over my vocals. You know what I mean? And that's how the homies rock, too.
So what was like your, because a lot of artists in my past episodes, they said that like, which is crazy, like a lot of them did like drama classes, they did like theater. Did you have that, in school?
I did, but it's not like I wanted to go into it.
You was like,
it's like I need extra credit.
Yeah.
But it's things that I picked up from it. It's like, all right, well, performance aspects that you learn never turn you back to the crowd. Simple things, you know what I mean? But it's things that you will never hear unless you take those type of acting classes, those theater classes, and they teach you those fundamentals. So like, I have appreciation for it. Not my thing, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. So when you started like, I guess start to do music seriously, like when did you first like start writing and start doing your own?
Yeah, when I was like a year or two after I really started. I was writing, but then my brother got me, that's what I was, my brother got me a mic. He got me a USB mic, and like a program, Reason. I got Reason real early, and the M Audio keyboard, so I was learning how to record myself. And I would have this desktop set up in my room, and I just record all my stuff, learn how to play with the wave files and the frequencies and equalize everything out. And that's when I was like, all right, well, this sounds horrible. These raps are, mediocre, so I need to get better. So I invested into getting a different microphone and different equipment, and I was fine-tuning the sound. That's what I realized was important. Because, people knew I had talent, people knew I could rap. When I would show my friends, they're like, man, this is good. This sounds like it could be on the radio. But it didn't sound like it could be on the radio. The sound of it was should have been better quality. So eventually I just picked it up, man, and I told myself that.
Yeah, because I see in one of your songs like you produce too.
Yeah.
So during that time, that's when you started like I just want to produce my own stuff as well, like because you was forced, you had to learn how to mix and master your own songs and stuff, right?
Essentially. Thank God for Pirate Bay. You know, I definitely learned how to get Fruity Loops, you know what I mean? And that was like a founding basis that was just like, all right, this is a simple way how to make beats, but at the same time, all the frequencies and all the mixers in there, it's in there. So you can learn how to do it on this kind of amateur setting. And then when you get into those other programs, it's like, all right, you can take the same concepts and apply it to, you know, music theory, you know what I mean? But that's really what it was. It was just learning how to do it by myself. But when I realized that mine didn't sound that good, you know, I get into the booth with other engineers and other producers, and then I just watch them. Every time, like, I'm in the studio, I'm watching, you know, how to drag stuff over, what the levels really should be like, you know, make sure don't peak, different things to equalize the different effects. So it's an ongoing game, man. You know what I mean? Every day it's an opportunity for you to keep going and to learn different things about how to be better, how to be different, even.
Yeah. So what was like your I guess like your first performance? How was it?
On talent shows, Nova talent shows. Yeah, Nova High School, man. Nova High School talent shows. My freshman year.
Yeah.
I did it every year, actually. My freshman year, sophomore, junior year, senior year. Never the same song. I feel like that's corny, but I never won, actually. It was, you know, well, I don't know if you know about Nova, but it's Davie.
It's like the whole, like they got the Nova High School.
Yeah, elementary school. There's two elementary schools, middle school, high school, and then the university.
The university and Broward College and all that.
All that in the same area. So it's a real cool network, but for me, it's a very mixed school. It's predominantly white. But it's a lot of black folks, a lot of Hispanic folks. But it's a mixed school. So we never really won. Like, I don't think a rapper has a rapper ever won. I think Fallon and them won.
Yeah, I think maybe
like 1 year. But other than that, it was like belly dancers and like jugglers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to call it white people shit. It is white people shit. But it was funny because I was telling him I found the video from like my senior year performance 2 weeks ago. I never knew it was on YouTube. It was like, it's a 5 years at this point? When did I graduate school? 2015?
You see a video in the cafeteria?
Oh. Yeah, I did see it. I think it's on Facebook. I saw the video on YouTube, and the whole crowd was rocking, man. The whole crowd was on their feet, you know, going crazy. But of course I didn't win just because, you know, it's rapping at a school. Dominant white. But, yeah, talent shows for sure was my first performance. That's when I learned how to zone out and kind of black out into my own performance and not worry about the crowd, not worry about distractions, just stay focused on having the best sound and looking good at the same time. So that's where that practice came from.
And then you also went from high school to college as well, like you started.
I had a song called Flyer Than You when I went under the Black Iron moniker. And it's like I wrote it to be like a crowd song for like crowd interaction. And I took that with me to Florida State. And talent show that summer. I did a talent show in college, and that was a crowd full of like 500-600 people.
I know you was nervous.
No,
you wasn't nervous.
It was funny because a couple of weeks before that talent show, I got involved with Cypher. Cypher was a hip hop student organization on campus. And
they had a FSU.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Let me go back. That happened at Nova too. In high school, there was a hip hop student organization called Soul, and I was the vice president. That. So we would like do workshops and teach kids how to rap and stuff like that. And so when I got to college, it was the same thing too. You know, I found that organization and they were really supportive. So for me, it was like we do Freestyle Friday every single Friday, unless like the weather was crazy or something. We'd just be outside, speakers. We have a DJ or producer, or whatever, and play beats from 9 o'clock to midnight.
9 o'clock a.m. or p.m.?
PM. So it'd be like 4 hours of just freestyle. You know what I mean? It'd be, crowds would form around us. It'd be like just 4 or 5 rappers, and then other people would come. So eventually it got bigger. But when I went to Florida State, they embraced me, man. It was crazy how much love they showed. So when I got on stage to do that show, I actually got a footage of that one too. Crowd was rocking, you know what I mean? 500, 600 people on their feet. So it was love, and I'll never forget this, man. I always go back to the video just to watch it. Not on some conceited stuff, but just to harness that memory.
Yeah. So like so going to Florida State, you know, a lot of people, you know, you're doing the program and stuff, like the activity, the cypher group. How was your experience up there in Tallahassee? Like, I had different experiences, especially with music.
It was necessary. The reason why I say it was necessary is because as a man, as a black man in this world, education's everything.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to excel in the society. And I know a lot of people don't believe in education, higher education once you get past high school. And that's cool. But for me, it was more of a situation where I live in Lauderhill. Yeah. A lot of niggas don't make it out. You know what I mean? True. And so that was my ticket to do something different, do something that wasn't going to be Broward College or something that everybody else was doing. And my mom fought me on it. You know what I mean? My mom passed away my senior year. And she was like, no, don't go to college, whatever. Like, go to Broward, go to FIU, go to somewhere closer. I was like, no, like, Florida State's a big school. Like, I want the full experience. And it taught me so much about being independent. Because I had to work while I was taking classes. You know what I mean? I had 2 jobs, actually, while I was taking classes. We're not rich by far, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, my mom, she would help out where she could, but really it was, I got my tuition taken care of by scholarships. I had just enough money for rent, so after that I just had to figure out how to eat. I mean, and that's been my drive ever since. Just every day it's like, you know, I'm hungry. Where the food at? You know what I mean? Where's the money for the food? So I gotta survive. And that was my drive every single day. And that taught me how to be a better person. It taught me how to be a man, it taught me how to be more independent and not look for a handout ever. You know, pride is gonna get me killed one day because I don't like to ask people for help. But it being on my own and even having the responsibility of having your own apartment, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a completely different feeling. You know what I mean? No one wakes you up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're on your own. And coming from South Florida, where a lot of people I know still stay with their moms, and it's just because that's how the real estate is down here. That's how the culture is down here. Like, it's expensive to live in South Florida. You paying at least $1,200, $1,500, you know, for a 1-bedroom.
Right now, me and my fiance paying like $1,400.
Me and him paying $1,500, $1,400 too. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we love our apartment. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way that the market is. So a lot of these kids can't afford it, especially when we on $10, you know, an hour jobs, minimum wage jobs. You know, working at the mall, you can't afford a life like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're not qualified for Section 8 or something like that.
Exactly,
so, you know, it's seeing the contrast and seeing how country Tallahassee is. Tallahassee's full of some country folk. Like,
it's country,
It's really country. Down here, I consider city life, you know what I mean?
It's like, you know, I try to, well, you know, if you go like to LA or New York and stuff, they'll call us country folk because
that's metropolitan type of stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because think about it, like me and my fiance was walking the other day, and she's scared of frogs. I'm sorry I bring this up, but she's scared of frogs. And I said, girl, you a city girl, because, you know, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we all, you know, Palm Beach, we a city,
right?
But, you know, you still got to go through certain dirt roads or certain dark places or whatever. So it's like you gonna see snakes, you gonna see iguanas, like. I went to FIU. I first went to Broward, then I went to FIU, and then I went to St. Thomas for my master's. So I'm like, when you walk through to go to your classes, you gonna see 9 out of 10 times you gonna see iguanas and stuff.
All that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where we at.
You know what I'm saying? We call it the swamp. You feel me? So,
straight up.
So at that, you know, I guess between like when you was 12 in college and after college, like what was Papa Zan was going like? Which?
So Papa Zan's a cool story for me personally because it's a new name, it's a new identity that I've taken on, and it's something that I had to ask myself, like, all right, what does it mean? You know what I'm saying? I know I could change my name and make it sound cool, but who is that person? Because, you know, I have this, I can call it a dichotomy of myself where it's like my personal beliefs and then my rapper self, but it didn't have to be separate. You know what I mean? I could be a genuine person that raps and that has that performance and that has that energy. When I was, after graduation, I mentioned my mom passed away my senior year, so I moved to Atlanta with my brothers, and after my brothers fell out,